My fiancée ran off with her gym trainer during our vacation, so I sent them the bill for the entire trip and went viral doing it. My name is Ethan, 29, works in tech, and thought proposing to Maya, my yoga-loving, hyper-disciplined fiancée, was the peak of adulting. She's gorgeous, goal-obsessed, and treats fitness like a religion. I figured we balanced each other out. But something started when we went on vacation. You know, one of those let's reconnect before the wedding getaways you see on Instagram, except without the filters or the fake enthusiasm. Santorini, sunsets, sea views, the works. I booked it all. Flights, villa, private tours, those cheesy-ass couples massages she kept hinting at. Maya said it was exactly what we needed, which, in hindsight, is code for, I've got a plan, and you're not gonna like it. The moment we landed, shit felt off. Maya wasn't really there. Not emotionally, not mentally, and definitely not physically. Unless you count her face constantly buried in her phone. She kept giggling over her texts like a damn teenager. Said it was just her group chat from the gym. Yeah, group chat. Sure. I should have known something was brewing when she insisted on packing her entire athleisure closet in case she needed to stretch. Apparently, nothing says Greek island romance like yoga mats and resistance bands. She even brought protein powder. I tried brushing off the weird vibe. We'd been engaged for 3 years. We'd gone through worse. Hell, she'd put up with me during my microbrewery obsession phase. I figured I owed her some grace. So I did the whole fiancé thing. Made her breakfast, planned out the sightseeing, even tolerated a day of wine tasting with people who said things like, this bottle has a gentle oak whisper. Kill me. But the red flags were popping up like it was goddamn capture the flag. She kept going out for a run and came back looking suspiciously showered, like she hadn't broken a sweat. Her phone was always face down, and every time I asked her to do something together, she pulled the whole, I'm tired, babe routine, then disappeared for 2 hours with her yoga mat. Then I saw him. Brent. Fucking Brent. Her personal trainer. Or, as I now refer to him, Captain Crunches. He was sitting at the hotel bar, casually sipping a green juice like he hadn't just materialized from her Instagram stories. Shirt way too tight. 10 like he gets spray tanned on the hour. And when he saw us, he gave me the world's most awkward nod. The yeah, I know what this looks like nod. Maya froze. She mumbled something about it being a total coincidence, which was about as convincing as a used car salesman saying, trust me. Coincidence my ass. Dude was booked into the same resort, in the same week, and just happened to show up every time Maya vanished. That's not serendipity, that's scheduling. I didn't make a scene, mostly because I didn't want to end up on some Americans Abroad cringe compilation, but also because I was still trying to pretend this trip wasn't circling the drain. Instead, I kept tabs. Quietly. Noted every time Brent coincidentally jogged by. Every awkward wave. Every glance that lasted too long. One night, Maya said she had a migraine and went to bed early. An hour later, I walked past the beachside yoga deck and saw 2 silhouettes mid-pose. I wasn't sure if it was downward dog or just dog behavior, but either way, it wasn't namaste. I didn't confront her. Not yet. I wanted to be absolutely sure before I threw gasoline on the bonfire. The next morning, Maya acted like nothing was wrong. Made me an omelet and everything, which would have been sweet if I hadn't just seen her playing couples CrossFit under the moonlight. So yeah, I ate the omelet, but I did it while plotting the kind of revenge you can only cook up after heartbreak, betrayal, and a 3-day headache from pretending everything's fine. We still had 5 days left in Santorini. 5 long, awkward, very expensive days. I figured if she was going to play me for a fool, I might as well make her pay for it, literally. I didn't know how yet, but I had a feeling my credit card statement would be more useful than any lie detector. Because if she thought I was just going to slink off quietly while she screwed Brent behind some decorative olive tree, she had another thing coming. Let's just say, they weren't the only ones with a plan. It happened on a Tuesday. I remember that because I had just booked us a damn catamaran cruise for the following morning, thinking maybe, a day on the water could pull us out of whatever pit we'd clearly fallen into. Maya said she'd be back from her sunset yoga by dinner, which, obviously, was already bullshit, but I was still in denial mode, scrolling through restaurant options and trying to ignore the voice in my head screaming, she's with him. Again, I didn't get a call. I didn't get a text. What I did get was a notification that Maya posted a new Instagram story. Curiosity got the better of me, which was my first mistake. I tapped it open expecting a sea view or a beach selfie. Instead, I saw them. Maya and Brent. Arms around each other. Wine glasses. Sunset behind them like a goddamn travel ad. The caption? New beginnings. I almost dropped my phone into the villa pool. At first, I just stood there, staring at the screen like it would morph into something less humiliating. Something less final. But no, there she was. The woman I'd proposed to. The one I'd shared rent with, therapy bills with, Spotify playlists with. Grinning like she'd just won the damn lottery, next to the guy who spotted her glutes and apparently her exit strategy. There's a weird numbness that hits when your relationship detonates mid-vacation. I wasn't even angry yet. Just hollow. Like my brain had unplugged itself out of pure emotional protest. But then the rage crept in. She didn't just cheat on me. She cheated on me while on a trip I paid for. With a dude she paid to train her. She was sleeping with her gym subscription. On my dime. In a country I booked. That's not just betrayal. That's fraud with a protein shake. I called her. Straight to voicemail. I texted, "Nice story. Tell Brent he's paying for the massages." Nothing. And that's when it clicked. She wasn't ghosting me. She'd straight up left. Ditched the villa. Left her luggage, her sandals, even her Kindle, all still in the room like she just went out for a walk. Except now she was clearly holed up with Mr. Kettlebell, probably justifying it all with phrases like, "I need to follow my truth," or some other self-help drivel. I went through stages fast, grief, confusion, anger, spite, all before breakfast. I poured myself a full glass of rose at 10 a.m. and said screw it. If I was going to get dumped, I was going to do it properly. I ordered room service for one. The expensive stuff. Added on a facial and a massage. Booked the catamaran tour anyway. You better believe I marked it all down. Because here's the thing. Maya didn't just nuke our relationship. She tried to disappear into a fairy tale ending with zero fallout. She thought she could hit the escape key and go live her best life with a six-pack and a motivational quote. But no, not on my watch. I started keeping receipts. Literally. Every euro spent. Every tour. Every drink. Every overpriced dinner for one. I took photos, too. Me, looking sad but dignified, holding cocktails I didn't even like. I wasn't planning anything yet. Not fully, but something was brewing. Something better than screaming into the void. Something better than chasing her down for an apology she'd never mean. By day 3, I'd officially stopped pretending the trip was salvageable. I wasn't moping anymore. I was documenting. I'd turned into a vacation historian. Every charge went into a folder on my phone. I titled it Maya's Wedding Fund Refund. And then came the kicker. On the last full day of the trip, I ran into Brent at the smoothie bar. Alone. No Maya. He looked surprised to see me, which was hilarious since he'd been canoodling my fiancée for 72 hours. He gave me this awkward bro nod and mumbled, "Hey man," like we were frat brothers or some shit. I didn't say a word. Just looked him dead in the eye and sipped my overpriced pineapple slush like it was the blood of my enemies. I could tell he was nervous. Probably knew Maya had ghosted without cleaning up her mess. He had the face of a guy who realized his situation had more fallout than planned. And that's when I knew I had leverage. They wanted to disappear into bliss and pretend I never existed. So I decided to make myself unforgettable. I didn't just want revenge. I wanted documentation. I wanted the truth out there with receipts, timestamps, and a headline that would burn their image into the timeline of the internet forever. Public humiliation? No, this wasn't about vengeance for views. This was about a bill. A very specific, itemized bill. I wasn't going to cry into my Greek yogurt and fly home defeated. I was going to make this trip pay dividends. After flying home alone with a half-used bottle of sunscreen and a broken engagement, I did what any heartbroken idiot with too much free time and a petty streak would do. I opened Excel. Or, more accurately, I weaponized it. Let me be very clear. This wasn't some emotional outlet disguised as a spreadsheet. No, this was war. Cold, calculated, beautifully color-coded war. I pulled out the folder I'd started mid-vacation, photos of receipts, timestamps, screenshots of every cent I'd spent from the moment we stepped on that plane to the moment Maya disappeared into Brent's protein-packed arms. Spa treatments? Logged. Sunset cruise for 2? Logged. Romantic dinner that turned into a solo feast with 2 desserts and an entire bottle of wine? Logged, with tip. Every charge, every hidden fee, every overpriced cocktail with a sparkler in it. If I paid for it, it went into the invoice. The final total? $6,472.32. And yes, I added the 32 cents. Because Petty has no price cap. The file was titled Joint Trip Costs. You break it, you buy it. At first, I planned to just send it to her privately. You know, classy-like. Maybe add a little note like, feel free to split 50-50 or 60-40ths since you skipped the last half. But then I remembered the smug-ass Instagram post. The one with new beginnings and a heart emoji like she was starring in her own Hallmark betrayal movie. And I thought, no. Screw quiet. Screw polite. She wanted attention? Cool. Let's give her some. So I posted it. Not to my private page. Not buried in a group chat. I took it straight to Reddit, baby. r/petty revenge. Title: My fiancée ran off with her gym trainer during our vacation, so I itemized the entire trip and sent them the bill. I attached everything. The invoice PDF, screenshots of the Instagram story, a few sad but honest vacation selfies, and a breakdown of each cost with passive-aggressive comments like, massage you didn't show up for because you were busy stretching with Brent. I hit post. I expected maybe a few likes. A handful of comments from other bitter exes, maybe a virtual fist bump or two. What I got was a goddamn tidal wave. Within an hour, I was top post on the sub. By noon, it hit Twitter. Some blue-check account quote-tweeted it with king behavior. By evening, I had BuzzFeed writers in my DMs asking for interview rights like I was the main character of the internet, which, apparently, I was now. People were tagging Maya's account. Yes, I blurred her last name, but you think the internet cares about that. Others were sleuthing Brent's fitness page, leaving one-star reviews like, would not recommend, stretches your relationship more than your hamstrings. And the comments? God tier. My guy really dropped a breakup invoice. Legend. She left with Brent, but Ethan got the gains. Certified accountant of heartbreak. I didn't reply to Maya. She didn't reply to me either, not directly. But her Instagram suddenly went private, which told me everything I needed to know. A few days later, she finally cracked. I got a message. Short and nasty. Maya, take this shit down. You're embarrassing yourself. Nah, babe. You did that for me when you ghosted mid-vacation and posted it like it was an engagement announcement. I didn't respond. Instead, I screenshotted her message and added it to the original Reddit thread with the caption. Guess who finally checked her inbox? The ratio was instant and brutal. Hundreds of comments clowning her. People offering to pay my invoice. One guy sent me a Venmo request for emotional support wine fund. I laughed so hard I actually considered approving it. And here's the wild part. People loved the spreadsheet. Like, really loved it. Someone designed merch with the phrase, you break it, you buy it, under a broken engagement ring. Another person started a petty ledger template and shared it publicly for others going through breakups. Apparently, I started a goddamn movement. But for me, it wasn't about the likes. It was about balance. Emotional and financial. If I had to eat the pain of betrayal, then they could eat the cost of champagne breakfasts and snorkel rentals. And I knew I'd struck a nerve when Brent's gym account suddenly stopped posting. No more flexing on the beach. No more thirst traps. Just radio silence and a bunch of deleted comments. Turns out, being the poster boy for infidelity isn't great for business. As for Maya, last I checked, she was still private. Still quiet. Probably trying to scrub the internet of receipts she couldn't control. But the damage was done. She wanted a fresh start? Cool. Hope she enjoys it. With interest. By the end of week 1, I had a new nickname, the Spreadsheet X. Not exactly the legacy I imagined for myself, but honestly, I'll take it. Beats being the guy who got dumped for a dude with abs and a discount code. My Reddit post exploded. Then it mutated. Twitter memes, TikTok reenactments, even a YouTube analysis from some guy in a basement titled, Why This Breakup Invoice is the Most Savage Thing You'll See All Year. I didn't watch the whole video, but I did catch the part where he called me a modern-day petty prophet. That one's going on my resume. Maya, on the other hand, was getting cooked. People dissected every pixel of her vacation post. One Redditor enhanced the image like they were solving a crime scene and pointed out that Brent was still wearing his gym's branded shorts. The gym's name trended on Twitter for an entire afternoon under the tag #StretchGate. They ended up disabling comments on all their social media accounts. Beautiful stuff. The post got picked up by a viral news site. One of those tabloid ones that runs headlines like "Woman Marries Roller Coaster" or "I cheated on my boyfriend with his clone he built himself." But still, exposure is exposure. I was getting tagged in breakup survival forums, finance threads, even productivity groups. Apparently, petty accounting is a universal language. People started asking for templates. I had one guy message me saying, "My ex took our dog and the espresso machine. I'm billing her for beans and therapy." Another woman messaged, "Thank you. I invoiced my ex for emotional labor. He actually paid $200. Honestly, I was proud. I didn't just go viral. I started a damn ecosystem. Of course, not everyone loved it. Maya finally snapped. She messaged me again, this time pretending to be chill. Classic damage control move. "Maya, hey, can you just take the post down? This is getting out of hand." "Oh, sweetheart. That ship sailed, hit an iceberg, and went viral doing it." I didn't answer. Instead, I posted her message to the thread, blurred her name again, because I'm not a total monster, with the caption, "Update. Apparently financial accountability is getting out of hand." Thoughts? The comments section lit up like a bonfire at a breakup bonanza. She had zero issue airing your relationship in a story with hearts and a dude named Brent. But now it's getting out of hand. Nah, she's not sorry it happened. She's sorry it got receipts. She chose to cheat mid-vacation and you're the embarrassing one? Girl, sit down. Somewhere in that storm, someone unearthed Brent's professional page and discovered he was still publicly in a relationship with a woman named Jess. Yep, the plot thickened faster than a Greek yogurt. Jess hadn't said anything yet, but people started tagging her. It got messy fast. Someone DM'd me screenshots from Jess's Facebook, photos of her and Brent, dated only a few weeks before the Santorini disaster. Matching Halloween costumes. Quotes about trust and discipline. You know, the usual motivational poster garbage people put before they get blindsided. I didn't reach out to her. I didn't need to. The internet was already stirring the pot like a chef with vengeance issues. Meanwhile, my inbox turned into a support group. Strangers thanking me for making pettiness feel productive. Divorced dads. Cheated on wives. Even someone who'd been ghosted during a job relocation wrote, "You made me feel seen." I invoiced my company for emotional damage. I wasn't sure whether to laugh or recommend therapy. Somewhere between all this madness, I got a message from a woman named Laura. She recognized me from the hotel, the last couple days when I was eating alone and muttering to my wine like a man possessed. She wrote, "Didn't realize I was watching a legend in the making. If you ever need a revenge vacation partner, I know a spot in Barcelona." I didn't answer right away. Not because I wasn't flattered. Hell, I practically blushed, but because I was still knee-deep in the fallout. Going viral is a weird mix of dopamine and whiplash. You think it'll fix everything, but all it does is keep your story alive while you're trying to crawl out of it. Still, I saved her message. And the best part? Maya and Brent tried to go silent, but the internet wouldn't let them. People kept digging. One person even matched up Brent's vacation dates with a client session he'd claimed to be at, which meant either he had a clone or he'd been lying about more than just Maya. I didn't plan for it to snowball like this. I just wanted someone, anyone, to validate that I wasn't crazy for feeling humiliated, abandoned, and royally screwed. Instead, I got a front row seat to the world cheering as karma did squats on their reputations. And just when I thought the show was over, Jess entered the chat. Not figuratively. Literally. When Jess messaged me, I half expected her to rip my head off. Honestly, I thought I was about to get yelled at by the other woman who got cheated on, except this time from someone who didn't go on a Mediterranean vacation funded by betrayal. Instead, her message was 5 words. "Is this about Brent?" Confirm. I stared at it for a minute, not sure how to respond. There was no intro, no fluff, just direct, like a sniper text. I replied with a simple, "Yeah, sorry you had to find out like that." She followed up with 3 screenshots. Him and her. Beach days. Gym mirror selfies. A picture of a promise ring, no joke, with a caption from 2 weeks before my trip. "To forever with my strongest support ringed." I felt a fresh wave of rage, not for myself, but for her. That ring must have still been warm on her finger when he showed up in Greece with my fiancé's legs around his waist. Brent wasn't just a cheater. He was a serial manipulator with abs and a smoothie addiction. Jess and I started talking, not in a flirty, trauma-bonding way. At least not at first, but more like two people digging through the same garbage heap, comparing notes. Turns out, Brent had been telling her he had a coaching seminar that week. Said he'd be in Crete, not Santorini. He sent her a pre-recorded video message every morning to prove he was too busy for video calls. Jess had believed him, until she got tagged in my Reddit post by 6 different people. One of them was her cousin. So yeah, Brent had fanfare. Jess didn't waste time. She asked for my spreadsheet, said she was building a timeline of her own. I sent it over. She replied, "I'm adding it to my doc." His ass is grass. What followed was a collaborative petty revenge experience so cathartic, I almost felt bad for the guy. Almost. Jess went nuclear in the best way. She posted her own thread, complete with photos, screenshots of his lies, and a side-by-side comparison of his location lies versus my receipts. It wasn't just a breakup story. It was a case file. Her post? My boyfriend went on a business trip, but showed up in another girl's vacation pics. So I dumped him and told all his clients. Reddit ate it up like a drama buffet. Within hours, her thread overtook mine. People were linking both posts together like a breakup cinematic universe. Someone even made a diagram connecting the key events, like it was a conspiracy theory or a true crime special. I half expected Netflix to option it, but it didn't stop at Reddit. One of Brent's clients messaged Jess privately and asked if the stories were true. She confirmed everything and forwarded the receipts. Within a week, Brent lost 4 clients, small business owners who didn't want to be associated with the guy who cheats on clients and relationships. He tried to fight back, posted a lame IG story. Don't believe everything you read. Some people love drama. 0 likes. 1 comment. You mean like running off with your client's fiancé? That kind of drama. 2 days later, he deleted the story. Jess, meanwhile, was thriving. She got flooded with messages of support, breakup solidarity, and even a few offers for coffee if you're ever in LA. But she ignored all of them, except mine. We weren't romantic. Not then. But there was a sense of poetic justice in how we tag-teamed his downfall. The ex-fiancé and the ex-girlfriend, side by side with color-coded receipts and synchronized vengeance. God, it was beautiful. Maya? Radio silent. No posts, no stories, no angry follow-up DMs. Which told me one thing. Brent hadn't just nuked his own relationship, he'd blown hers up too. I could only imagine the argument that went down after Jess's post dropped. Maybe Maya didn't like learning she was also the side chick. Maybe Brent tried to play the victim and got kicked out of her life and her bed. Either way, I never heard from her again, which was fine by me. I didn't need closure from someone who had the emotional maturity of a protein bar. I got something better, proof. Public, indisputable proof that I wasn't crazy, clingy, or overreacting. That I was betrayed, mocked, and then turned it into a digital reckoning. By the end of it, Brent was off social media. Maya had gone into hiding, and Jess and I had an entire shared Google Drive of screenshots, sorted by cheating lie and expenses they'll never pay. The best part? Reddit mods pinned our posts as a cautionary tale. We were the caution. They were the tale. After the dust settled, there was this strange, glorious silence. No more alerts pinging every 5 seconds. No more DMs from strangers dissecting my pain like it was a Netflix docuseries. Just me, my peace, and the faint satisfaction of knowing 2 garbage humans had self-destructed while trying to play Instagram power couple. I figured that would be the end of it. I had my revenge, the world had its drama, and the internet had a new phrase. You break it, you buy it. Felt like a natural conclusion. Except, the story didn't quite stop there. Let's rewind a bit. Back to Santorini. I'd stayed the full length of the trip, even after Maya pulled her disappearing act and turned our romantic villa into a ghost town. I figured, if I'd already paid for everything, I was damn well going to enjoy the hell out of it. Call it spite vacationing. The staff noticed, obviously. You can't quietly get dumped at a honeymoon villa without someone picking up on the fact that your fiancé is missing and you're eating double portions of calamari like it's a coping mechanism. One night, the hotel manager pulled me aside. She said she'd seen situations like this before and gave me a free upgrade to the penthouse suite. Said it was a gesture of kindness. I think she just wanted me out of sight of the other couples, but I took the win. That's when I met Laura. She was staying 2 doors down, traveling solo after bailing on her own engagement. Apparently, her ex tried to pitch a polyamorous lifestyle mid-ring fitting, and she pieced out the same day. Total chaos. She caught wind of my situation via hotel gossip. Something about the guy whose fiancée ran off with her trainer mid-vacation, and sent me a drink with a note that said, "Divorce club? Table for one?" We ended up talking for hours by the pool. Not flirting, not trauma dumping. Just two people comparing shitty relationship war stories and laughing way too hard about it. She had a dark sense of humor, zero patience for BS, and introduced me to a Greek cocktail that nearly ended my night, and possibly my liver. We stayed in touch after the trip. No expectations. Just occasional messages about bad dates, revenge ideas, and memes that reminded us of our respective exes. Fast forward a couple months. I'm back home, post-viral fame, post-Maya, post-Brent. Life got quiet again, in a good way. My followers died down, the attention faded, and I went back to work without being the breakup guy anymore. Honestly, thank God. Then one day I walk into a new gym, because, irony of ironies, I needed to cancel my old one after Brent's face popped up in their promo emails. And guess who's leading the orientation? Paolo. Built like a Greek statue, but somehow less smug than Brent. Funny too. He made a joke about avoiding trainer drama within the first 5 minutes, which I appreciated more than I should have. I told him I was definitely not interested in dating my trainer, and he laughed and said, "Cool. I only date people who don't ghost their partners mid-vacation." That's when I knew he'd seen the post. I asked how deep he went. He said, "Full thread. All 6 parts." Took notes. Most awkward flirting ever? Probably. Still worked. We didn't rush into anything. Not after the Greek tragedy I'd just crawled out of. But he asked me out a couple weeks later. Not to the gym. Not to a smoothie bar. To a movie. Like a normal person. That alone put him ahead of 90% of the population. Meanwhile, Jess messaged me again. No drama. Just a friendly check-in. She was doing great, picked up a few new clients, and, get this, got offered a podcast deal to talk about cheating recovery stories. I told her to call it Jessified Karma. She said she's stealing that. She deserves it. And Maya? Still quiet. I checked her socials once just to see if she tried to spin it. She hadn't posted in months. The last story she had was from the vacation, the one where she soft-launched Brent. No updates. No apology tour. Just static. Good. Brent eventually resurfaced, but not as a trainer. Someone found his new gig, coaching wannabe influencers on building personal brands. I wish I were joking. His course is called Authenticity Sells. Yeah, so does betrayal. Just ask the internet. I never got the $6,472.32 back. But I did get something better. I got a vacation. I got a viral moment. I got a spreadsheet framed above my desk. I got Lara, Paolo, closure, and a pretty solid cocktail recipe I still make on weekends. And most importantly, I got to walk away with my dignity intact, something Maya and Brent definitely can't say. I started this whole thing thinking I'd been screwed over. And I was. But somewhere between the heartbreak, the invoices, and the internet's weirdly unconditional support, I remembered that being left behind isn't the worst thing that can happen. Sometimes, it's just the start of your glow-up. And if you ever need a petty revenge consultant, I work in Excel.